we're now going to go over an entire sentence dissection sheet together, so follow along and pay close attention. Down here at the bottom you see a checklist, and these are the things you need to be able to do for the test. Okay, you need to be able to separate the clauses, determine whether the sentence is simple, compound, or complex, locate the simple subjects, the simple predicates, determine the verb type of the simple predicates, whether or not they're transitive, intransitive, linking, or helping, locate the direct objects if the verb is transitive, locate the indirect objects if the verb is transitive and has a direct object, locate the complement if the verb is linking, locate the prepositional phrases, and locate the objects of the prepositional phrase, or phrases depending on if there's more than one, and locate any appositives in the sentence, and then be able to label all the parts of speech. And you need to be able to do this relatively quickly to get through all of the prompts. So let's start. A clause. Okay? A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. Okay? So, and there are two different types of clauses. There are independent clauses, meaning that the clause can stand alone on its own, and a dependent clause, which means that the clause has a subject and predicate, but it doesn't make sense on its own. It's dependent. It's dependent on the rest of the sentence. So it's a clause, but it can't stand alone. That's a dependent clause. Okay? So let's start off there. We need to be able to separate the clauses in this sentence, but the first thing I suggest doing is probably reading the sentence. Bob, a candidate for class president, gave the students the ballots, and he waited patiently for the results. So I can tell that we have Bob, he's giving the students the ballots, and then he is waiting patiently for the results. Okay? I can tell that this is probably where the clause begins and another clause, this clause ends and the next clause begins. All right? From class we learned that this is a conjunction, and this is one of the fanboys conjunctions. And the fanboys conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. When one of those fanboys conjunctions are used, we always have a comma to separate the conjunctions. And those conjunctions are used in a specific type of sentence, which I'll get to next. Okay, but I know that that is where one thought ends, which means clause, and one thought begins. All right, so I separated my clauses. Check. Determine my sentence type. All right, so I have two clauses here, so it can't be simple. It can't be a simple sentence, because simple sentence means that there's one independent clause, which means I'm down to a compound sentence and a complex sentence. All right, so how do I decide? It's relatively easy to figure this one out. This is one of the fanboys coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions are used in compound sentences to bring two independent clauses together. Just a little refresher what independent clause is. Ask yourself, Bob, a candidate for class president, gave the students the ballots. If that sentence ended right there, could that make sense on its own? Yes, it could. Right? It's a complete thought. He waited patiently for the results. That makes sense on its own too. These are two independent clauses combined with this coordinating conjunction. This is a compound sentence. Next step, locate the simple subjects. All right, to do that you have to know who or what is doing or being in this sentence. All right, so we got a simple subject here, Bob. What's Bob doing? Candidate for class president gave the students the ballots. He's giving. My simple subject, my simple predicate. All right, and since we have two clauses, there are two simple subjects and two simple predicates. So I got to look for the simple subject and simple predicate in the next clause. He, and what's he doing? He's waiting. So we got a simple subject and a simple predicate. Two clauses means two simple subjects, two simple predicates. Determine the verb type. Now I have to find out what kind of verb is gave and what kind of verb is waited. So I got transitive, intransitive, linking, and helping as my options. Okay, so gave. Gave what? If it can answer gave what or gave who, then we have a transitive verb with a direct object. Gave what? What was given? The ballots were given. Okay, this verb here has a direct object. This is the direct object of the simple predicate gave. So since it has a direct object, gave is transitive. Easy enough. Has a direct object, gave's transitive. All right, but we have another verb to look at. Weighted. Does this answer weighted what or weighted who? No. This answers weighted how. Okay, how did he wait? So it doesn't answer the what or the who, but this is an action verb. So this verb here is intransitive. It's an intransitive verb. So we've got transitive verb, intransitive verb. Locate the direct objects, right? If transitive. If transitive. So we only have one transitive verb, and we did determine that it has a direct object. So that's easy enough. Locate the indirect object if trans and the DO is present. So the indirect object is who or what is receiving the direct object. All right. So Bob, candidate for class president, gave the students the ballots. Who received the ballots? Who was given the ballots? The students were. Students is the IDO. Easy enough. And since the other verb is intransitive, we don't have to worry about objects at all. Locate the complement if we have a linking verb. We don't have any linking verbs. Locate prepositional phrases. All right, we have to be able to find prepositions at this point. So I can tell that there's one preposition here, and there's one preposition here. All right, prepositions are usually part of a prepositional phrase. They should be. They should always be the beginning of a prepositional phrase. And there is two prepositional phrases here. They always begin with a preposition and end with a noun or pronoun. So I have two prepositional phrases right here. For class president, for the results. Locate object of the prepositional phrase. All right. The object of the prepositional phrase is really easy. It's always the noun or the pronoun that completes the prepositional phrase. So president is the object of the preposition, and results is the object of the preposition. All right. Locate a positive. And a positive is a group of words that tell you more about a preceding noun or pronoun, usually a noun. So let's see. Bob, a candidate for class president. Here it is, right here. This is our positive. Okay. A candidate for class president tells us a little more about a preceding noun, a preceding subject. Bob. Okay. If we took that a positive out of the sentence, we could read right around it, and it would make sense, right? Bob gave the students the ballots. That's a good sentence, but we add these positives to make our subject a little more clear. Give our sentence a little bit more flavor. A candidate for class president tells us a little bit more about Bob. That's our positive. Easy enough. All right. Now you have to be able to label the parts of speech. You have to be able to rattle off the parts of speech of all the words in this sentence, okay? A subject is always going to be a noun or a pronoun. So in this case, Bob is a noun. He is a pronoun. All right? So we got that done. We can zip right to our simple predicates. Simple predicates are always going to be verbs. It's a transitive verb here. Weighted is an intransitive verb. Easy enough, okay? We also know that all objects are either nouns or pronouns. So let's bounce to our objects. Our object's president is a noun. Our object student is a noun. Our direct object ballot is a noun. What's our next object? Object results, that is also a noun. Because objects are always nouns, all right? All of those prepositional phrases start with a prep. So I know that's a prep. And I know for is a prep. We already determined earlier that this is the word combining the two clauses together. This is called a conjunction. So, without even thinking about it too hard, I've already got most of my words figured out, okay? But let's zip to the other ones. We got a, the, okay? A, and the are articles, which is really a subcategory of adjectives. They're really a type of adjectives that tells us really a numerical value and a specific noun. The students, a candidate, an apple. Okay, so a, and the we're going to list as adjectives. So we're left with candidate, a candidate. I know that's a noun. That's a thing. Class. Class would be a noun, but in this sentence, it tells us who the president is. For class president, what kind of president is he? He's a class president. So since it modifies a noun, this is also an adjective. Gave, we got a verb, the adjective, noun, ballots, and he. Wait is a verb. Now, this answers the question, waited patiently. How did he wait? He waited patiently. So this word here modifies waited. And words that modify verbs are known as adverbs. For is a prep, the is an adjective, and results is a noun. That looks like a mess, but hopefully if you followed along, you understand how to do that. That's it.